My name is Barton Faraday, City Councilman here in Arkham, Massachusetts. Just like my father before me. Well, until he tried to embezzle the city of its funds and left in disgrace. He disgraced our name, one of the oldest names in Arkham. And I spent my entire life trying to reclaim the name of Faraday, trying to separate myself from my father, trying to separate myself from that dark legacy. Well, here I am, one of the youngest elected officials in Arkham, and I seek to achieve what no other Faraday has achieved before, the mayorship of Arkham. And here's how I tried to do it. Right after some curious events that happened in the library, I gave a speech in Independence Square. Friends and fellow Arkhamites, I stand before you today to announce my candidacy for Mayor of Arkham. Yes, the time has come for new leadership in Arkham, and I believe that last night's tragic events only made that all too clear. A madman in a hood has invaded one of our most beloved institutions, Miskatonic University, and has committed egregious acts against two of its most faithful employees. Right now, as I speak, Zed Miller lies in a hospital bed, stabbed, and recovering from those injuries. But even worse, Greta Rickenbacker is missing. Kidnapped, possibly, but who knows? Is this the sort of Arkham we want for our children? I think not, my friends. And that is why I believe I can restore Arkham to the gem it once was. The Faradays of my lineage were one of the first families of this fair city and founded it to be a city on a hill. I believe I can do that if you give me the chance. For God, for country, and for Arkham. It was the most successful speech of my career. Afterwards, I returned to my office in City Hall. The dark Gothic tower loomed above me, bathing me in shadow. I was stopped by a colleague of mine, Alistair Creighton, a city councilman from a different district. He was chuckling, saying that my speech was rather amusing, saying it was more befitting of a sheriff than a mayor. But his bespectacled eyes showed greed with envy, and I knew he wanted to be mayor. I knew that my speech came as a surprise to all of them. The establishment did not know. He continued to chuckle, saying that I should watch which horse I bet on, saying that Zed Miller probably had something to do with the disappearance of Greta, saying that if that turned out to be true, then my story of a hooded man menacing our streets would make me look like a fool, like my father. I needed information, and I needed it quick. So I went to St. Mary's Hospital, and there I found Zed Miller lying in a hospital bed. He was half lucid. He thought I was a police detective, said he already answered questions that morning. But then he saw my face, recognized who I was, and became a little bit more open. I told him it was my duty as a civil servant to make sure that he, a citizen of Arkham, was healthy and well accounted for. He related me the events of that evening. Strange. A hooded man, a dagger, and a book. He also had made mention of a man in a Packard automobile outside of the library who looked rather suspicious. I thought it was coincidence and made nothing of it. Zed Miller seemed honest enough. Didn't seem the type to kidnap a woman or to steal from his place of employment. So, I thought it prudent to continue to champion him in my speeches. He asked about Greta, asked where she was. I said she was missing, and he asked if he could go, try to find her. He seemed to trust me. I like that trust. It makes for good allies. so I arranged for him to be released. There was a loose end in this whole case, and I don't like loose ends, so I decided to go to the scene of the crime, my alma mater, Miskatonic University. I visited the scene of the crime, school library. Miskatonic University was as gloomy as I remembered it. It's where I learned some of my greatest lessons, and also received some of my biggest mockery, such as my nickname, Big Barton Faraday. They used to laugh at that name, but it was a name that came to garner much respect, not to mention a fair bit of fear. I decided to call upon my old professor, Dr. Henry Armitage. He was now chief librarian, and I thought I'd be able to get some answers. He was hesitant to give me information. He said that it was best left to the police. But I used my skills of persuasion, and he started to see things my way. He said that there was one book missing, an ancient book that came in from the new collection that they were installing in the basement. It was the Necronomicon. I had never heard this word before. It sounded rather something of fiction. He looked rather grave when he said the name. He would not answer any more questions about the book. Said that it was very ancient and very mysterious. I decided to walk home. It had been a long day. Walked down the dark streets of Arkham back to my house. Could not wait to see my old dog Rupert greeting me at the door. If only I knew. But anyway, I walked down the streets. Could have sworn I heard footsteps behind me as well, but it was nothing, and the cold wind chilled me to the bone. And I arrived at my townhouse in the French Hill district. The door was open, hanging from the hinges. I decided to step in slowly and quietly, and there I saw a gruesome scene. Rupert, dismembered, his body parts strewn across the floor, and in blood. Wrote, "Mind your own business, or else." I fainted. Somebody did not like me asking questions about this case. Possibly a political enemy. Some goons were hired to come into my house and kill my poor Rupert. They were gunning for me, too. I would need to call in a favor. I called my old friend from college, who just happened to be a police officer, Sergeant Robert Stanford.